Hello, everybody. Don't know if there's anybody watching yet, but I will start anyways. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. If you're watching this on catch up or watching this live, whenever anybody joins. While I wait for Neo to get here, I remembered something earlier that I haven't seen many people talking about. And it's this blog from David from back in July. So it's titled David in the Spotlight, published 31st of July 2025. And he usually starts with a Bible verse. Lord, remember David and all his afflictions. Sorry, that's my dog. Bible verse from David. So, every so often, but with consistency, certain news media outlets, as well as people from within the entertainment industry, we'll revisit the Son of Sam shootings, which terrorized the citizens of New York City from 1976 to 1977. Sometimes it will be to recall a dark time in the city's history, which is understandable, while at other times they will revisit the Son of Sam case, seeking only to profit from it. In the eyes of the latter group, however, there's money to be made by bringing the tragic Son of Sam shootings back into the public eye, but not with any regard for the victims and their families. It's for personal and financial gain. Major news tabloids and huge powerhouse entertainment outlets such as Netflix do this. To them, it's just business as usual. They know how to make crime pay, while I prefer to call it old-fashioned greed. But in the process of this, they will stir up bad memories for those who have lost a loved one, yet continue to grieve. While for those who are severely injured but survived, it means more trauma for them too, as they are once again forced to relive these events. That's just the way it goes, as these tabloids and entertainment outlets continue to peddle their productions by highlighting the horrors of a frightening time in New York City's history. However, for me, here we go, as a important line, the one who is guilty of those crimes, so here he is admitting it, both the tabloids and the television producers will flip things around to make it look as if I'm the only one who's seeking attention for myself by trying to bring back the Son of Sam shootings into the public's memory. While just the opposite is true. Close friends who've known me for 20 or 30 or more years now know that I try my best to avoid the media spotlight. I don't know if that's entirely true, David. Maybe you and Manson are the only serial killers who have actively been in the media spotlight. Just saying. Finding myself in the newspapers again or on television is nothing but vexation. It's just more stress that I had to deal with. While added to this is just having to face the shame and regret for my crimes. It's reliving a nightmare. While at the same time, the ever so diabolically clever media people have had the audacity to say to the public that Berkowitz is always looking for attention, while the truth is just the opposite. I'm seeking to go on with my life. It's the tabloid media, however, who seek sensational stories to feed their readers. And it's the viewer-hungry entertainment outlets who are seeking financial profits from their productions. All told, the sad reality is that in the world of business, it's all about greed, exploitation, and in making a profit. It's a world where even the victims of violent crimes get exploited and used. And it will probably remain this way until the Lord returns to establish his kingdom on earth, where peace and justice will rule. My prayer is, may God bring healing and redemption to the families of my victims and those who were injured. So make of that what you will. I think no other serial killer in American history has been in the tabloids and on media like David has. I mean, the guy was on Larry King. He was a Maury Terry Neo. I mean, the guy was in the spotlight a lot, wasn't he?
Yeah, what'd you read there? I just
One of David's blogs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Basically dissing Netflix and calling them money grabbing productions, like, you know. But David is as guilty as them, isn't he? He's done a lot of interviews, Neo, and you know he has.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's ever dull in this community, is it, Neo? Let's just get that straight.
Nope. What do you got today? What were you doing? Just that blog?
Yeah, but apparently, Neo, you're copying. We're copying. The whole community's copying somebody. What do you make of that?
Who are you talking about? Grossman again?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What do you make of that, Neo? What's your first thought?
He's not going to give up until he's completely embarrassed, I guess.
What are you copying?
I don't know. I'd like to see what he did, what he retired from.
Well, I think in Manny's, like, okay, so Manny, hang on a minute, mate. We're copying you, but you think we're shit. So you're essentially calling your work shit. So which is it? And I know for a fact that, these letters, Neo, without these letters that you found, right, Manny would have had no
credibility. That I'm copying him, yet he's using my work. It doesn't make any sense. Again, if I didn't find out the dogs' names and the whole Klausner scene around Wicker that he could not figure out, he wouldn't even know what these letters meant that I found. You know what I'm saying? So say, I don't understand this kid. Don't make no sense. He's using my letters, okay, that I found. And he's telling me I'm copying him. It makes no sense. It's never going to end. So whatever. You guys can all be entertained with it. It's pathetic.
Remind us when you got those letters, Neo.
The second ones, I was working, and a fireman that I had spoken to months earlier came up to me, and he said that one of his fireman friends was good friends with a detective who had this stuff. So I didn't even know what it was. And when he gave it to me, it was all these letters and all this stuff. He told me that the detective who had it had passed away and left it to his fireman friend's father. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got it. And the police didn't have it. I went right into Yonkers detectives and gave it to them because it was theirs, you know, and they had never seen this stuff. So how could I be copying him when I put forth this stuff? He's lucky he even seen the DA stuff. He shouldn't have even seen all that. Okay. He's lucky he's seen that. And then what he does is he manipulates all my stuff to act like it's from the DA. So he could say that it's fair game and it's his too. And I remember his lie. He said that the DA website stole all that stuff from him. Remember when he was saying that?
Yes. Hilarious.
Right. Everybody stole from him, yet I haven't seen him put forth nothing. He stole Maury's files. He's got all my stuff, okay? And he uses the DA stuff. I don't know what this kid brought forth. What did he bring?
I can't think of one single thing. I'm just being honest now.
Yeah.
I can't think of one single thing. Even the Wendy stuff is just diabolical.
I mean, even Goncalo's name he didn't figure out. That was me and Sylvia. You know, there's a lot of people that were a part of this. It wasn't just me, but it wasn't him. Okay, he was just putting the stuff out on video. His brain did not function in the process of coming up with anything or going to any leads. You know, we never discussed anything. And he said, "Oh, let's go get this." It was me running around and then bringing it in and say, "Hey, I got this." And he's like, "No way." That's how it was, like the Nettos. All right, his scope of investigation was in on Tamaya Park. He doesn't know nothing about the Nettos. Okay, because I had to do research to find them myself. And then the way I found them and everything, they would have never spoken to him. Okay, I had contacts in Yonkers that were really good friends with the Nettos. They wouldn't have spoken to him. He's going to say, yeah, but he can't talk to anybody in general. Never mind these people. No way.
Yeah,
she would stand off to talk to me in the first place. But, you know, her husband's best friend, I'm really good friends with, like extremely good friends with him. So, again, they wouldn't have spoke to him. He wouldn't have gotten anything out of them. And the dog's name wouldn't have came about again. He wants to act like he did that. He didn't do that. I was the one striking conversation with them in the kitchen. Okay, it was my conversation that brought that dog's name up. And then within the next day, I found 22 Wicker. Okay, I found the lady, not him. And she's the one who told me the other dog's name and helped me put it all together. And then I called him up to come up and, because I always want to get it on tape. And I always wanted him to hear it. So, again, I don't know what he did. I'm copying him, but it's all my work. And he can keep going. I mean, I'm just getting better at dealing with it because it's pathetic. It's pathetic.
Well, I've sat there and thought, what could you have possibly been copying, Neo? And I just can't think.
Right, and all that Yonkers stuff were from the Yonkers detectives. It's the one before that packet. Where everybody got all their dates from and seen a whole bunch of stuff that happened in Yonkers that was nowhere else, could not be found. That was given to me by Yonkers police. He had never seen that. Another bunch of dates and information put forward through me because they wouldn't have put that out through anybody else. Told you I was very good friends with the chief of police, became good friends with John Geis, and they gave it to me to put out. A detective had come in during that week and he had it and handed it in and they gave it to me. That's what they had told me. Because I was working in the courthouse during this whole thing. I had to sign in there. So I was seeing the detectives a lot. I was stopping in. I could go and walk in the chief of police office easy. I grew up with him. I mean, all I had to do was say, is Joe there? And, I could talk to him. It wasn't like I wasn't talking to these guys.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing going on behind the scenes that this guy thinks he was a part of, which he wasn't. John Geis was huge with a lot of stuff. And he doesn't know anything about what was going on behind the scenes with a lot of the stuff. Like I popped these letters up to him. He didn't even know anything. He's asking me, where did you get these?
Well, there's a lot of stuff in the packet that you got that wasn't on the DA, right? Like
a lot. There's a lot of letters there. All right. The April 27th letter, which shows you him shooting the dog, wasn't in the DA. A lot of my letters were in the DA. He don't want to. He wants to just put all my stuff in the DA website so that it looks like, it wasn't mine. Just like he told the New York Post. If you look at that article he gave, he wants to try and make like my work wasn't there. Without the DA drop, you had to see this kid doing videos after I ditched him. He's using all my work, all of it, all my groundwork, all my paperwork. He had nothing else. And then the DA dropped, which I was happy about. It really was. But again, it was a way for him to manipulate my work.
Well,
Neo, breaking down the letters, I want to see him break down the letters like I do. Okay, because he can't break down the letters like I do because he doesn't have the brain to do that. And if you look at the stuff, look at our work, it's not the same.
Well, Neo, when I first met you, after a little while, you sent me this.
Right. Now that came after I got the packet. Okay, now the originals are out there, of course. And these were the best letters that I had gotten. These were the two only letters at the time, the public letters. This was the President Borelli. And I really did have a research team, as you can see. I credit a lot of people. And Penny was one of the best by far. Better than me at a lot of things. And she had called me and said, you're not going to believe this. Look at this. And she started, lining up the letters. And I said, you got to be shitting me. Like the whole time you're doing this, Maury's got you thinking they weren't written by the same person. And here we are lining up the letters. And, I sent this to Grossman and he still, no way he wrote both of these letters. And
I'll show that in a minute.
I got proof.
I'll show that in a minute.
He was always 10, 50 steps behind us.
Yeah, but apparently you're copying him. So
right. So she had figured that out, and I was like, "You got to be shitting me!" And
well, I'm telling you, Neo, when you
what's going on, Eric? Happy birthday, man!
Thank you. God bless you.
Neo, when you sent me these pictures of the Borelli and Breslin letter side by side, it was like that moment, like that light bulb moment.
I'm not going to lie. I was like, you got to be kidding me, because they really look different. They do. But if you really break down the letters and put them right next to each other, yeah, I mean, it's simple.
When you see that, Eric, do you think they look the same?
Look at those. Look at that H right there.
Well, the one on the right.
That's
Borelli.
Yeah.
And the one on the left is Breslin.
Okay.
And I line up a lot. There was a lot more letters lined up. That was just one of the pictures that from the H's, because of the G's.
Well, if I take
the S's, the T's were the same.
Well, if I take the I, let's see now, because I wish, with all due respect, I wish we had a better.
Well, for this one, just look at the H.
Okay, all right, let me just put this. The B of butt on the left is different from the B of beats on the right. The I here could be considered in kill, could be considered the same as.
Look at the E's, Eric. Look at the E's.
Okay, hold on.
Look at the T's. Look at the S's.
Yeah, the E's are practically the same.
The S.
And the S is
the H is, I mean, look where he crosses the H, how high it is.
Well, wait, but on the right, the H in house is very different from the other H.
No, right there, the H is right there, and he. You see where?
Oh, wait.
I got it right next to it.
No, right? Yes, it's the same.
Yeah.
What is
across the H?
I take different pictures of the T's and the S's. They're better in some of the other pictures, but that's just one of them there that just shows you the H.
Well, what I can say is that, I mean, I think it looks like the same person, I would say, practically, because what you have here with this handwriting is when somebody is intense and is writing his thoughts out quickly. Therefore, he may make an H like the H in the, or he may make an H like the H in.
Still, it's a little high. I mean,
you see what I mean? And then it's something written by a person who is writing quickly their thoughts down, and sometimes the calligraphy.
Look at the S's.
Yeah, but the calligraphy will change.
Look at the top right S's, and then look at the bottom left S on seldom.
And look at the L, Eric, how the bit goes up, like at an angle, the L goes up.
That's right.
But the police also.
Look at the word seldom and love, Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see how the L goes up at an angle?
Yes.
Yes. And also you have to remember, so he sent the Borelli letter, obviously, to the police. To the second letter to Breslin, he knew it was going straight to press and it would be published. So he had to make it creepier and bolder because he knew that would go straight to the paper.
He had many different styles. He did.
Which, well, the Borelli letter eventually, when it was fully released, also has something quite creepy and dark in it.
Of course.
Greener. It also does. Plus, what's his name? When Paul Hart is a guest, finally, he's preparing a lot. He will have a lot to say about the Borelli letter and what was known on the inside of the New York Police Department about that letter, and not yet released. As eventually it would be, as opposed to the statement made by the chief of police or the deputy chief of police. He would have to clarify who it was. Yeah. Now, so whoever, I would say, based upon what you're showing me, the same person wrote these letters.
Yes.
The same person. Now
I had the other pictures to show you. If you line the letters up at certain spots, sometimes it doesn't look identical, but there are ones that do.
Of course,
and I lined them up a lot, but this is just one example I had with that. I wish I had the other ones, but
of course, because of all everything that is so the twists and turns in this case. I'll use the term of attorney at law Michael Armienti when I spoke with him. There's going to be people who say, well, yes, it's the same one person, but which person? That's the way people reason. But no, I would say, based upon these two, it's the same person.
It looks it, right? I mean, it's funny too, because if you've looked at it in the past, and they really do look completely different. They do.
Yeah.
When you look at it like this, and these were so much clearer too. These ones I got.
Are those your fingers or Rena's?
Those are mine.
So, or perhaps one finger is yours and one is hers. But no, I think it would be great if we could see them all lined up. Now, are these the actual letters themselves?
No, these are copies.
Copies, right. Well, based upon what I'm looking at now, David Berkowitz, or if somebody wants to say somebody else, it's the same person. I mean, I don't think that a group would get together and say, okay, this is how we're going to all do our
always got to have you, Eric, to keep it open.
And we're always going to do our ease like this. No. But what I will say is, by the rhythm that I get, as if I was a jazz musician picking up notes, I would say that it was written intensely. Spontaneous thought was coming out at the moment of writing, not pre-prepared.
Right. Eric, I will tell you to bear this handwriting in mind, okay? Now we'll show you this. All right, bear that handwriting in mind, and I'm going to show you some pictures.
What the hell you got here?
Right.
Notice on the wall.
Yeah. But if you look at how similar the writing is to the M's and the R's.
Yeah, it's very light, these
right.
images.
So now Berkowitz wrote this, right?
Yeah.
So if you need to, right, Rena, right.
They're very light, Rena. I've seen darker, better images.
Look at the S in Masters.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not offending you, Rena. It's just that they're very light, these ones.
Kill Sam Carr.
As opposed to photographs. Yeah, but I can't even see it. It's not very good.
Yeah, it's not too good. But bet you if you take that kill, you could match it up with some. This is a way to prove it was him. Yeah.
If I recall in the Ultimate,
he wrote this.
If I recall in the Ultimate Evil,
then again, you don't. But
if I recall in the Ultimate Evil, I don't remember Maury Terry saying the letters were written by different.
Oh yeah, what do you mean, Eric? He had you thinking that John Carr wrote the Borelli letter. That's how I got into this, and it looks.
But does he have that in the Ultimate Evil?
I'm not sure. I read that book twice. I'm sure there's other people who know that particular answer to that, but he thought that John Carr wrote that Borelli letter. That was his assumption, a theory.
Well, let's put it this way: if he states that
because there's no way he felt there was no way that one person wrote both, so he felt John Carr wrote the Borelli and the Borelli. I don't think.
To me, based upon what
remember the second one, he thought Michael wrote.
All right,
as a matter of fact.
Well, that might have been after the book, but this is what I'm saying: if he believes John Carr wrote the Borelli letter, based upon what you've shown, just to be open, I'd have to say then John Carr wrote the Breslin letter.
No, well, he was saying
no, not Maury Terry.
Oh, okay.
If he's saying that John Carr wrote the Borelli letter, then I'm going to have to say, okay, I still believe it's one person. So John Carr wrote the Breslin letter.
I get your take on that. You're right. Yeah.
I can't see both.
But, he had Michael down as a graphic designer. So the lettering in the second one was a lot neater and more planned, it looked like. So he felt that Michael Carr wrote the second one. And again, look at all the letters that he's seeing before the arrest, before he may have seen some of the apartment letters. He's writing differently, Berkowitz, in print and in script to these letters. So again, Maury's matching what he has, okay? As far as Berkowitz's handwriting, we all see there's different styles, and none of them are really like those letters. Do you know what I'm saying, Eric?
Yeah.
So that's why I think he was like, well, I know Berkowitz wrote these. He sees this in script, and he sees the letters wrote to Sam Carr, and he's seen the letters before the arrest that were out that he got his hands on, and they're not like these wild ones. So again, Maury's thinking that it Berkowitz writing these because they didn't match what he knew as his handwriting. That's where I would say he got that, which is, look at it. He's got so many different styles.
Wow. Yeah. Well, someone thinks you're copying him, Neo. And as these following messages will show, I mean, look at this.
That?
It's a text message.
Oh, yeah. Where'd you get this? Out of all the files?
Yeah, I've got everything.
Right. So there you go. There goes another picture for you, Eric, before we get into the
but here, well, he's
look at the T's. Okay. Now I'm sending this to Manny. I said, how about some T's? Okay. So I'm trying to show him now that the letter were both written by Berkowitz. No problem. I bet you if I took these letters to a professional, he will say they are the same author. I am willing to bet anyone, any amount. And what does he say? I fucking cannot believe no one ever did this. I'm coming around, dude. Okay, so because before this, he would not believe that Berkowitz wrote both of these. Not even when I was showing him this. But now he's starting to come around, dude. That's me copying him, right?
Coming around.
Right. It's me copying him.
Plain as day.
Right.
Well, Maury Terry believed that keeping secret the Borelli letter and not publishing the whole thing could have prevented further crimes.
Say that one more time.
Maury Terry writes that he believed that if the Borelli letter had been released sooner, crimes could have been prevented.
Again, their point of keeping that letter was so that when they did arrest the person, as they did Berkowitz, they were able to keep some of the stuff, nobody to see it, so that when they arrested Berkowitz, interrogated him, he knew stuff from the letter that no one would know because they never showed it.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't want to show the whole thing because it was a tactic for them when they did catch the person to know it was them by them answering some stuff in that letter that no one would know but him. And that happened. He was, what is this?
You say, wow, look at this. Same as the Voscarician shooting.
All right. This is when I got the packet. And I had sent him a letter that was within the packet. This is the March 8th one. Again, you wouldn't have seen this if I didn't find it. And let's say, wasn't even Joaquim Neto he was after. Right. So now I'm reading these letters and Joaquim Goncalves' name's coming out, which in my book, you'll see Sylvia Neto helped me out a ton with that. And what we came out with the phone book, which Manny was not a part of again. He'll probably try and claim that too. All right. Sylvia said there was a Joaquim Goncalves that lived on floor 3. See, I'm talking to Sylvia because after I got these letters, I totally called her up and she helped me out with the whole Goncalves scene. He says his name on this letter. Right. So again, we're coming across Goncalves here. And that was a big part of the investigation. Then he writes, the name is all over Maury's files. Again, I didn't see Maury's files. He wasn't even using Maury's files.
Who
had Maury's files, and he wasn't even using them. Trust me.
Who wasn't using them?
He wasn't using Maury's files.
No,
he wasn't, because there's so much stuff in there that you see now, Eric.
Now
after it came out, that it's like, how didn't this kid see this?
Yeah.
How did he see? Yeah. So that's how I know he wasn't even looking.
Well, listen,
let me download on the computer so I can read it.
Now look,
Wicked Dog with a question mark. Hold on. First time he's seeing my letter. Okay, dude, where did you find this? Good stuff. Yeah. Well, who found it? Right. Who found it? Grossman. Who found it?
Yeah, he's acting shocked there.
Right. Okay.
He's acting shocked.
I mean, there's tons of this, and we're just going to keep embarrassing because you got me to the point where, forget it, man. Let's just do this right.
Wait, is Manny typing in?
Go ahead.
All right, let me read something here.
I'm not messing that up again.
Let me read something here. This is important about somebody. This is a very important point. I found it in his book that Terry wrote. It appears that he's saying one person is writing, but there's a collectivity of people contributing words. This is what he writes. He said, Larry Ziegel, who's the first man who then told him about the process church of the final judgment. Like, who really wrote the letters? Larry said. Here is what Perry writes. That was another thing. The Borelli letter sounded as if it was written inside the car home. The text was clearly from the viewpoint of someone in that house, not from Berkowitz's apartment high on the hill. Oh, sugar. Berkowitz's apartment, someone in that house. Oh boy, I screwed this up. I got to close it or I'll lose it. No.
Well, we all know who, Neo talked about this the other day. He thinks it's coming from Harvey's perspective.
Right. From Harvey. Well, yeah. I don't discard anything. I think it's all possible, but I want to see, I hit the wrong key and I have it on a Microsoft Word and that deletes without my wanting it to. I've got to get back to, it's a very important paragraph.
Well, why you do that, Eric? I've got another screenshot to show.
What is?
Here's another text message.
Everyone got excited. That's when mistakes are easy to make. Okay. It wasn't a mistake. If you say he didn't know. Okay. So this is when Mitri, when I brought these into Yonkers, Geist didn't really want me to go too fast with this stuff because no one's seen it. So I left there under the impression I was going to give a little bit at a time to Manny, and he okayed me doing that, and that was fine. I can't stop him from giving these to cops. There's no way I can ask him to do that. He knows that, and he had given these all out to everybody because it was like a blowhorn in the detective.
What did he give out to everybody?
Guys, when I gave these into the detectives, there's a lot of detectives that were into this case. So when I found it, they all wanted to see it. And he rightfully has the right, and I had no problem with it. I just didn't know that was the plan.
Okay, let me read this paragraph now. I got it again. This is very important.
Let me finish this. Hold on, Eric. Okay. All right. So now I got this stuff and I brought it in, and guys had given it to everybody, which was fine with me. After I talked about it, Mitri had apologized. I accepted. I was upset in the beginning because, again, I found something that nobody had really come across. And I was under the impression we were going to just keep this under the lid for a minute. I didn't want to keep anything from anybody. I was following rules that's how you play the game. So we were at a meeting and Mitri happened to pull these out, and I'm like, how'd you get them? And again, he apologized. He didn't know that what me and Geist had planned to do. So again, he tries to say that other people brought these papers, whereas Geist will back me up in it 100% that I brought this into detectives. Okay. So he was clueless. I never thought bad of you in this. I knew you had my back, and we're trying to make everyone happy. Today is a new day. Everyone knows the truth. They all know you got this stuff.
Now, who's green? Who's the green one?
The green is me. Okay. The gray is.
And the one after that?
The gray is him and the green is me. Okay. So he knows I got this stuff.
The gray is Manny.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay. So he said they all know you got this stuff.
Right. Everybody knows I got this stuff. Rincieri, everybody knows I brought this in. Even Joe Mock. I ran into Joe Mock on White Plains the other day, and he's bragging to the detectives. You got to come check out everything I got. And I said, yeah, because I gave it to you. But they had a lot of stuff too. They were into this too. They definitely helped out a ton.
I didn't know any of this was going on.
You should have. I was trying to get everybody involved, as you can see. That's not what he wanted.
I didn't know anything. Now, that's interesting. It's just I just see that type of keeping it here, partitioning, eventually psychologically leads to all these damn breakups, or maybe you start to say, well, why did you behave the way you did, Manny? There's like, what is there, an agenda? It's like dominoes. You use one person, you work with one person, then boom, you go to another, and so forth and so on. It doesn't make sense. But this is important now, because here what Terry is writing is one person put pen to paper, but there were other people contributing. That's how I see it. So Larry Ziegel says, like, who really wrote the letters? And this is what Berkowitz writes. That was another thing. The Borelli letter sounded as if it was written inside the car home. The text was clearly from the viewpoint of someone in that house, not from Berkowitz's apartment high
The
on the
dog.
hill behind it.
The
No,
dog.
but let me finish. Not from Berkowitz's apartment high on the hill behind it. The telling phrases included behind our house, locks me in the garage,
Right.
look out the attic window, ties me up to the back of the house.
Everything the dog was doing, Eric.
And there were also some extremely personal references to Sam Carr's health and habits in it. I was certain that someone who knew Sam Carr well and hated him had a hand in the composition of the Borelli letter. Look at that word. Had a hand, not wrote the composition.
Right.
Had a hand.
Because he's right. It looks like it's written by someone in the family.
Right.
Harvey.
But wait. Let me finish this. Wait. I got to get this other two. What do you think, John or Michael? Larry asked. I don't know who printed it. Listen, I don't know who printed it. He didn't say I don't know who wrote it in the sense of whose mind it was. But I'll bet you anything, one of them provided the words, at least some of them. He spelled honor the British way. That's Honour instead of OR. Does that sound like Berkey from the Bronx? So you see, what's interesting here is that he's not denying that it could have been Berkowitz. He's not saying it wasn't Berkowitz who wrote.
He's saying that the letter had to be written by someone from
No,
the house.
right. Somebody who knew the Carr house.
Right.
So what he's saying is Berkowitz, the printing, we can deduce it was Berkowitz, but somebody else was contributing these facts or these symbols to Berkowitz.
All right. Well, I will throw this at you, Eric.
No, but
if that was the case, and he was talking to John and Michael Carr, why would he call John a rapist and a suffocator? Why would he implicate his friends in these letters? If they were contributing to the letters, why would they talk about this like themselves like this?
Well, that's a good question. But I'm only bringing forth a fact. You see, that's something else. What I'm bringing forth a fact that Maury Terry is stating in that important piece that one person did the printing, but somebody had knowledge of the Carr house and contributed words to it.
That's if you want to read it like he did.
Yeah.
Or you can read it like how I see it, and he's right. It's the dog.
But he's not saying, he never says Berkowitz didn't write it. Larry Ziegel asked the question, was it John or Michael Carr? Because he says it looks like it was written by somebody who knew the Carr house.
Right.
And Berkowitz, living behind them, could have easily known in some manner or whatever the Carr house, the dog. Some people are cruel. They do
obviously
barks and they put a dog in a garage. That doesn't stop him from barking.
It was two garages back there.
Yeah. So, now
which he could have seen from his apartment, Eric. I mean,
that's right.
Well, there was a fence there my whole time growing up. It was down when we were going there.
That's right.
But you couldn't get past that fence.
Yeah. I mean, I do know that probably whomever wrote that letter, let's say Berkowitz wrote both letters. One person wrote it. It's easy for somebody, with all the occult works they were reading. Some of them were by authors from England or elsewhere in Britain, and they would say honor, Honour.
Crowley.
If it wasn't changed.
Crowley was English.
Yes. But you see, what I'm trying to say is many times these idiots, they think people are not going to understand what's being written. They will change the topography when it's published from one country to the next. So somebody might have had actually a book written in England, the English first edition, and seen the spelling. Or they could have just been very clever with language.
Or could have been Berkowitz, the psycho, just gibberish.
Well, Eric, I'll tell you a funny story. When I used to read in the English way, I used to think it was something to do with Marianne de Grimston and Robert. I was like, look, he's alluding to English people there. English writing, honor, Honour, honor. Look,
Mm-hmm. Even
It's very easy to see things out there.
I think De Grimskin and McLaren, she was Scottish.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I think from what I saw, just based upon this show, one person wrote the letter. I don't think that if there was a collectivity or even just two persons with regards to the letters, they're going to imitate each other's calligraphy. No, the rhythm of the letters is written by one person.
What you have to also bear in mind, Eric, is David was a prolific letter writer. And we know that from all the letters that were found in his apartment. So then you have to say to yourself, you know, if he's capable of writing these two on his own, he wrote all the other letters in his apartment on his own.
And also at that time, people did write letters.
And if you look at some of his apartment letters, Eric, they're like rough drafts of these letters in the press and to the police.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's like he was practicing.
Mm-hmm.
Same phraseology.
The shooting on the 17th, he admitted to doing. Again, it's him. He's the only one there. He dropped the letter.
Mm-hmm.
And he also admits to Dunleavy that he wrote both the letters. That's how within the letter, he says, I wrote one, try to tell the public, and then he wrote one to the newspapers.
I don't think he ever said to Maury Terry, I didn't write both, right?
I don't know.
I don't think he ever said that.
I'm sure there was a lot of stuff, conversations that they had that you don't know, because they talked a lot more than you think.
Oh, sure. And also what's filmed is edited for a show.
Oh, you don't want to do that. We'll do those one day. We'll do reaction to the interviews, because I can show you where they're edited. I can show you where Maury's asking him a question. And the answer Berkowitz has given you is, you can tell he's not speaking and answering to the same question that Maury's doing. He's trying to talk about a satanic cult in the whole, where Maury is like talking about the 22. And it's, you can tell. We'll do it one time.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right.
Eric,
it's film. That's what you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eric, I would urge you to compare the apartment letters. If you've never done this, compare the phraseology in the apartment letters to the phraseology in the main two letters.
Right.
Well, yes, of course, you have to do that. Everybody should. But then we have to ask the question, what was written first, the letters or the apartment letters?
It depends.
Well,
they were written all over the place.
76.
Yeah, they were all over the place. You see some dates on some. Some you have to read so you can place them. You can tell by who he's talking about at the time, and you can kind of place the letters in the date span.
Well, yeah,
Okay,
if you look at those apartment letters, they go back to like December 76?
75, I think is
75?
Yeah, I think it's the first time. You got to write them to his dad. As far as, I think that's the first one I had in my book.
What file did you get those letters from for today?
Mm-hmm.
Where did these letters come from? There's been so much I've had. Do they come from the
I told you to, my fireman.
No. The People versus David Berkowitz, or from Maury Terry?
Which ones? Those are my letters.
Okay.
There was the DA had a lot more letters than I did. Okay, that I had seen them, but they did have a lot more. But they had about 7. It was about 7 or 8 letters that I had that the DA didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot more police work that I had in the packets. Again, he didn't have the Carr letters. I had all the Sam Carr letters in mine. The packet I found was mainly Yonkers based. The Kill for Sam Carr one was in there. So it's a lot of the Yonkers letters that people that were in those letters.
Well, the point I was trying to make, Neo, is he's over there saying that we're copying, you're copying, when we've proven here.
I don't understand. Without my letters, what does he have? How does he says that copying his analysis of letters. He doesn't have the letters. I don't get them for him. Doesn't have anything.
Eric.
And then you got to throw on top half of his stuff. He's trolled me around for 3 years now. Just follows wherever I go. If I go on a show or I post stuff, and he just steals my information and runs and does a video. And then he lays the foundation. He thinks it's funny. He That's what he's been doing for 3 years. Just trying
Yeah,
to
he's
follow
retired,
me around, rip off my information. He even has like spies, these idiots. You know, he had one time one of his guys call me, you know, he was going to do a Sparaza show, this kid. Okay. Grossman's doing a Sparaza show because he still thinks Sparaza was involved. Remember, this is after I ditched him too. He didn't think Berkowitz was alone until he wanted to steal my work. So I talked to one of his friends and I lay out to him all the stuff on how Sparaza didn't do this. And then the next day the show's canceled and Sparaza's didn't do it. You know, it's like, it's just pathetic what this kid's done. And it never ends, I guess, but well, I'll keep going. I have nothing to hide. You know, when you don't lie, it's the same story you're going to get out of me. Him, I told you, I got about 100 lies. You know, I messed up the other
No,
day.
I'm just looking at.
I should have just went through lies.
I'm just looking without interference at the portable document formats. I have of the Breslin and Borelli letters, and whether it's David Berkowitz or somebody else, I think it's the same person who actually put pen to paper. Pen to paper. It's the same person without a doubt. I don't think if there was another, if others, let's say there's others involved, as I believe, I don't think they sat down and imitated one type of printed calligraphy at all. I don't. I mean, there is something to the point that maybe somebody contributed certain things, but
You're allowed to think that, Eric.
What?
You're allowed to think that. I used to think the same.
Oh,
I
no.
was convinced two different people wrote those letters until I saw what I showed you a minute ago. I mean, I'll show you again. This, I mean, I was already teetering on the edge of believing, you know, I was kind of 50-50. And then Neo shows me this, and it was like a light bulb moment.
All right, but I've got a letter here that's printed. It's a December 22nd, 1976. Bring me the head of a woman to place on our altar.
Right. Right.
Now, that is very different.
That was also in my packet.
Yeah,
that wasn't in the BA drop either.
I got it from the, well, that was put up, though, by John.
Yeah, everybody's gotten their hands on most of this stuff. Remember, nobody had any letters.
Yeah, now, yeah,
40 years, all you had was these two here.
The difference is that, right, but
had the one that Intervallo had that I managed to.
Well, the difference
journalist
with this letter says the Lord of, well, I don't know why it's blacked out with address name.
Well, if you go to Neo's packet, it's unredacted, Eric.
Because all mine were unredacted.
That's the 57 pages.
I had taken copies. The one from the DA, he had to redact his.
Oh, the one I sent you, Nia.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, here's something where everything is different.
Yeah, because I lost mine. It went missing off my phone.
Here,
so you can really send it to me again.
But here I have one where everything is printed. Sam Carr is king, says spilled blood. This is a different calligraphy.
Yeah, but it's the same on the walls, Eric. So what, were people going in his apartment writing on his walls? I mean, you have to look at this logistically. The writings are on the walls, literally. And the writings are on the letters. And there's kind of a pattern appearing here. This guy, still to this day, loves nothing more than writing to people, doesn't he? I mean, he even said from a young age he liked writing. He likes writing poetry. He likes his blog. He likes writing people. So take that for what you will, Eric. When I saw this handwriting, I was like, how have I not seen this? When you see them side by side like that, and then I saw the apartment letters, I was like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. This guy is guilty of doing all of this. And that was it. My mind was changed just like that.
Just on the two letters.
And
the apartment letters and Jack Jones tapes.
Yeah, but wait, I got to correct it. Those Jack Jones tapes, they're not, some of the, they never said that.
Those are really excellent, man. They're not being showed to you right. I'll tell you that. Even in that Netflix documentary, okay, and even whatever Grossman thinks he did, those tapes can be really shown to people the right way. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Well, I was speaking to Paul Hart, and he said it's a conjecture to say that the tapes had to be cleaned up. There's over 300 minutes, and I don't want other people telling me what I have to listen to while they talk and give their opinions. I want the tapes free.
Well,
But
it's
300
information any way you want to look at it. There's 22 of them. They're outstanding. There's a
But
lot
it's-
of stuff in Berkowitz's words in there, Eric. I
right,
mean,
but it's edited. It's edited.
Well, of course, it's edited for a podcast, Eric.
Yes, but they interfere with talking.
but it's still information.
True, but it's not the way the information should be
I
conveyed.
mean, the taxi driver stuff he puts out there. We'll go back to the Wendy stuff. I guess you're just going to throw the whole taxi driver theory out. You got to remember, the taxi driver movie is what drove him over the point to make him get the gun. Then he goes home, gets the taxi cab job, and now he's ready to go to shoot. How do you have that theory now if you're going to put Wendy in this? It doesn't make any sense
I'm not
again.
putting Wendy in. All I'm saying is, if there's over 300 hours of tapes, I don't need other people telling me and edit and saying, okay, we'll use this 20 minutes and then skip to minute number 50.
I hear you, Eric, but I mean, listen, Eric, all I hear is complaints that Josh didn't put out everything. This ain't there, that ain't there. We got what we got.
But wait. We got what we got was before you found these letters. The file that Rena lost and I sent to her that you got that packet. Supposing somebody said, well, we got what we got and you had never found this. But you knew that this existed. You would want this to be out there.
Right, but you got enough.
I think we're extremely lucky what we've got, Eric.
We got a lot there, Eric, and
We've got
nothing.
a PA website. We've got Neo stuff. We've got Jack Jones tapes.
Look, I'm not.
Maury Perry's files.
You don't have Jack Jones's tapes. They're not all released, Rena.
Yeah, but there's over 23 episodes.
What?
There's over 23 hour-long episodes. I mean, I think compared to most cases, we have got a lot of information at our disposals.
Of course, but still, let's take Joshua Zeman. I have been told, he told me he listened to tapes with John Tiny Lentini. Where are they? Mike Cordellas went up with the Twin Towers. Where are those tapes? Why not release them?
Hi, Steve. Hi, Leash.
What's up, Steve? Hey, Leash.
Yo.
Yeah.
Eric, we are
think
very lucky to have what we have.
There's a lot there.
I'm not saying you're not lucky to have what you have. What I'm saying is there should be no secrets. Everything should be released unadulterated.
I'm telling you, my relationship with Josh, he didn't hold nothing back. He invited a bunch of people up to.
He told me that he listened to Tiny Lentini on audio tapes.
Right. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that he had.
Where are those audio tapes?
He just sent me a book that was incredible. I mean, he's got so much of Maury's stuff. He's got a lot of stuff. There's no way anybody could have just came and got it. They took what they could take, I guess.
Eric, how is
not
he going
holding
to get these
anything back.
audio tapes out? How is he going to logistically do that? It's one thing getting people to come up there and scan, paperwork, but how is he going to get these audio recordings out there? That would cost money.
Oh, it's so look, if
he had nothing to hide.
If Joshua has audio tapes of Lentini or whomever he knows has them, it's very simple. You take the audio tape, you put it in a machine like I have, you put in a flash drive, and it makes the transfer.
Maybe he doesn't have time to do it.
Well, then if you don't have time to do that, then it's a halfway house investigation. What do you got those documents for?
He gave a lot. I mean, look, he brought awareness to the case, Eric. Without his documentary, none of this stuff comes. I don't care what anyone says.
I know he brought awareness to the case for many who didn't know of it. I only saw the film this year, and I said that everything was excellent filmmaking, except for the last half of the fourth part, where Terry is trashed by establishment people like the Columbia.
I disagree. I think these are people close to Maury.
But I see how some people think that.
Patricia Wallace of the Columbia Broadcasting System.
But it's their opinion, Eric. You can't change that. That's what they think. You can't force someone to think a certain way. Georgina was his ex-wife.
Oh, yes. I'll tell you what's wrong with it. He's dead. Maury Terry's dead. He's not here to defend himself against an establishment.
I think he did a great job for Maury.
CBS woman.
I think he did a really good job for Maury. I do not think his intentions were to make Maury look bad at all. It would really took a toll on him, and he showed it.
Right, but there's an error in filmmaking at the end.
In what way, Eric?
I told you, Maury Terry ends up being trashed. There's many people who see that.
But many people don't see that as well.
I don't think so. I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have went out there if I thought he didn't like Maury and was trashing.
Listen, even when I was a believer that David had help, I still was not under the impression.
Okay, you see things that way, Eric. I don't know. You know, and I've heard it before with that last episode, so I'm not gonna.
No, I remember I didn't see it to this year. Nobody influenced me. You know, I mean, I wrote and you know, and I said episodes 1, 2, and 3.5 of 4 are excellent, even exceptional as a defense of Mr. Maury Terry. That's what I wrote. It interweaves everything together that I had believed years ago, and I hold that Mr. Terry was right on target. Joshua Zeman did an exceptional view, but then you get Mr. Warren. I misspelt the guy's name. It's Warren.
Wayne Darwin.
Wayne what?
Darwin.
Yeah, it's Wayne Darwin. But then I said the disgraceful problem with the film is with the second half of episode 4. The tables are turned by having the cretin imbecile, Miss Sarah Wallace, give opinions that were basically subversive, such as Terry went off his rails.
But it's true, Eric.
She didn't study anything. What did she study?
Well, she knew him for many, many years. Look, it's her perspective. Do you want her to lie?
I would like to grill her.
Oh,
a slight
funny, Eric.
Wayne Darwin.
Hey, he wants to do it. He wants his answers.
Wayne Darwin is duplicitous and insidious. Gee, don't get me wrong. I like the guy.
Steve's right. The investigation took a heavy toll on Maury, and that's what Josh is trying to say. You have to be so careful with this case because we see it time and time again. People are so deep with this case, it takes over their lives. And we know certain people are having their lives dictated to by this case, by retiring and then coming back and then moving country and then coming back, all because of this case.
Maury Jr.
Maury Jr. He was done with this case. He was done with New York. Now suddenly it's worthy of coming back to. It's absolutely amazing. This case can take over your life.
Look, I even put forth a rhetorical question, but was Terry totally trashed? I say, I would have to say no. I say if one is intelligent enough to perceive it as Zeman's film by his own hand, he knew what he was doing.
Wow. This will interest you, Eric. I mean, let's mix things up a bit. Right. Okay. We got some stuff to go over here. And we're kind of like.
Here comes Manny.
All right. Did we lose Eric, Neo?
I think we might have. Give him a second. All right. So this is what this is his evidence, right? With Wendy.
Oh yeah, this is his evidence. Can you read this?
Yeah.
Let me just quickly send Eric another invite in case I don't know what Eric's done. Hang on a minute. Eric's back. Can you read that, Neo?
So wait.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eric. Where did you go?
Okay, it cut off. Manny didn't care for Zeman. He told me, and then he embraces Zeman, saying Berlinger continues what Zeman started. There's no continuity. They're both very different.
He wants to skip me. That's why.
Right, Eric, this will interest you because this is basically Wendy Savino, and we've got some points to discuss here. So, Mr. Grossman says, in short, number one, Wendy, shot the week he has a psychotic outburst and storms out of the Casara home.
Right.
And the day after...
Wait. Notice he says shot the week. Now, he told NYPD that he had this outburst, and then the next day Wendy was shot. Remember that?
Yeah.
Now he's changing it.
Yes.
Okay. Into a little word salad. Go ahead.
And the day after, he brutally picks up his stuff from Casaro, where he was still angry. Where do you have proof of that?
All right, stop. Broadenly picks up. Where do you see that? Okay.
Where do
We
you see
just
that?
heard the tapes. We just heard from Nan's mouth. She only seen him removing furniture. She never spoke to him. She didn't say he was upset. She didn't say anything. So where do you get that? The Broadenly, and he's still angry. I don't know he's still angry. I know that he's getting out of an apartment that he doesn't want to be at, and he just is invested. He's not renting anymore in the buildings at Yonkers.
We don't know.
He's getting a new start, and he's going into a new apartment. That's what I see. I'm not saying he was mad or happy. I don't know. But to say that is hilarious.
There's no way that we know he could be brooding. The last sentence in that paragraph, Manny is attempting to make a psychological analysis. This fits his profile of shooting people or animals within a close time window to his outburst. Now, well, I don't know if every shooting was close.
No, it's not, Eric.
No, it's not. I think you went over this, Rena, the other day about, what was the outburst for the first shooting? Where was that? Where do you see outbursts before the shooting?
The second shooting.
He's upset. You got some letters there saying, but how do you not like the Caceres where he's physically.
Why doesn't somebody go today? I wish I had his number, and say to Passaic County Chief of Police, Comparetto, tell us the truth. What exactly happened with that leather jacket? Let's hear it from him.
Oh, we'll get to that one. What's the next one, Rena?
Number 2 is the location.
Right. Well, it's not close to the 2 Bronx shootings, right? And this guy wants to tie it into anywhere Berkowitz ever was, a temple of Berkowitz's. You got Berkowitz's home at Co-op City. You got Berkowitz at Dressier Loop, right? You got Berkowitz's hardware store. So I guess anywhere around there is the location. And if you're talking about location as far as the shootings, mostly they're in residential areas, not in the parking lot of a restaurant. So,
and that was in
the location is what? What's the location?
It's Nina's restaurant that was in Pelham on Boston Road.
Right. It's not near the other 2 shootings.
Right.
So it's not that. So what's the location to? It's in the Bronx. There's no.
It's in Bronx County.
What's the location that he's saying? Okay, Eric, you know what I mean? He's trying to say number 2, the location. What? Yeah, what? What's the location have to do with any evidence?
He doesn't tell us.
Right.
Yeah, very vague. Number 3, the time period.
Right. Again, we'll bring up Taxi Driver. Okay. He started shooting after that movie. That's kind of where, as far as the shooting goes, the time period goes, and Wendy's shooting is not within that time period. So you either throw out the Taxi Driver theory, like we know is true because Berkowitz told us. So that's the time period. So where is it fitting the time period?
Number 4, the
the smile. He still has yet to show any witness at the attack saying that he smiled right before shooting. There is no smile. He sees Berkowitz being arrested, and everybody's seen that smile. That's the only picture you've seen of him. What else did you have when it went on? So he was smiling. I never heard that was going on while he was getting arrested. So he takes that Berkowitz is a smiling assassin because
if that was true, the way the newspapers are,
show me.
You know what they would
show me where a witness says it.
You know what the newspapers would have written if it was true? The smiling 44 gunman.
Yeah.
The smiling son of Sam.
There's a few witness accounts. None of them were, again, we want to throw out more lies by Manny. He's talking about a peekaboo incident because here he is trying to manipulate his Wendy story in with this, how Berkowitz has no steady pattern of doing things. And he starts saying that Berkowitz is doing peekaboo with Loria. And that never happened. Okay. Because you have witnesses' accounts of what happened there. And there was never anybody saying that Berkowitz was playing peekaboo. Just another lie that this kid tries to insert.
But Brenda M. Wendy Savino Clark did say she saw him smile, no?
Right. And he's trying to, again, fit his narrative of the Wendy attack with Son of Sam, saying that Berkowitz was smiling before his attacks, which is false. I have yet to see that from any witness that they had a smiling guy shoot. Okay. So if it was there, okay. But there's no witnesses to any of the attacks. There's about 4 witnesses, I think it is. None of them. So why? How do you
Celia
use it?
Davis is the only one that saw him smile, and she
Again,
was
still, it's not evidence. All this is no evidence. Again, go ahead. What's the next one?
So, number 5, the rarity of a single shooter aiming for a woman at late night in a parked car, shooting through a closed window.
What is that?
Right. Well, we know for a fact that David always went for 2 occupants in a car, right? 6 of the 8 attacks were done in a car.
Right. She was single.
And all of
right.
them
In
had
the car,
2.
it's always 2, right? Yep. Right.
Number 6, the identical twin sketch.
Right. Oh, I think the widow's peak.
Yeah.
Berkowitz doesn't have. She describes a tan person. I think she even said Italian. Right.
Blue eyes.
And the leather jacket, it's coming up, but you need to produce it if you want to use it.
Well, look,
Especially when, again, we go to the next one where he says the leather jacket that Comparetto never got back. See how he words that? When he knows that there's tape of them saying that he went to get it back, and he said Berkowitz's father gave it away. Regardless, okay, he has it, he doesn't have it, you can't produce it. So it's still not evidence. It's no evidence of a leather
And
jacket.
you have to bear in mind, David moved, 4 times?
And again, Comparetto, he hadn't seen probably since 1970, 71. Right? This is 76.
Well, he did.
He had been to the army. He's moved around. It's again more trying to jam his narrative, whatever he can find, into his Wendy story.
No, Paul, he did see Comparetto when he came back from the military, because Comparetto said he was an up-in-your-face Jesus.
Right. He asked him back for the jacket, and Berkowitz said that his father had given it away. He didn't have it. That's what we're forgetting to leave that out. That doesn't count in selective editing.
And plus, according to Manny, David's weight was fluctuating up and down. So the
Again,
chances of him
these are all
still
descriptions. Then he wants to talk about the 212. Okay. That is the weight that the police weighed him in at. Is that correct? So when the police arrest him, they weighed him in. That's the weight. You want to go off what people look at someone and say the weight is? What is that?
Yeah.
And he's saying that the 212 doesn't matter. This guy could easily weigh 212. Easily. I mean, that I'm pretty sure that is the weight that the precinct weighed him in at. So that's the weight you kind of got to go by.
David's average weight was 201 pounds.
I'm signing
Average
off.
of Wendy's attacker was 170 pounds. That's a 31-pound difference.
Right.
between-
What's the next one?
Wait, I'm signing off for a moment. I got to give my wife her medication. I'll be back. You proceed.
Okay, number 8, your favorite. A positive identification from a living eyewitness.
Right. He
Liam.
wants to, again, act like the rest and ignore the truth. It is not a positive identification. We've discussed this plenty of times. Okay. She was not put in front of a lineup and picked them out. She was giving pictures. Okay. After the arrest with Berkowitz in it, and she identified him. That is not a positive identification. Okay. So again, that's being ignored and lied.
Max says ChatGPT estimated his arrest weight at 215.
It doesn't even matter though. It doesn't, that's not evidence anyway. There's still no evidence, right? What do we got here? 8, nonsense, complete nonsense.
Yeah. So going back to a positive identification from a living eyewitness, like we said, right? If she'd have picked him out of a lineup before his face was plastered all over the media, I may have thought,
That's a positive identification, picking him out without seeing the person. She had seen him all over the media. Then she was handed a packet of photos with him in it. That's him. Of course, you just seen him. That's not a positive identification. I don't know how hard you want to make it, but it's not. So there's, again, still no evidence. Sketches aren't evidence, and her identification is not a positive identification. And this is also coming from a kid who had to erase half of his videos, because within there, he'll tell you that sketches are not evidence, because he was saying that about all the sketches that were there from trying to break Maury with that. And they weren't evidence for when he was fighting with Maury, but now they're evidence for when he needs to use it to pull his nonsense.
Well, he says at the bottom here, when I hear the Wendy haters discussing those issues, I will begin to take them seriously.
Right.
Right. Well, we're discussing them now.
Right.
Right.
All
Maybe,
nonsense.
maybe I'll even invite them on my show to discuss.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
No thanks.
If you,
No thanks.
what do you take from all these statements here, Neo?
It's ridiculous.
He's grasping at straws, essentially, isn't he?
Where's the evidence still? There's no evidence. And he lays all this out like it's evidence. And it's not. And nevertheless, not only is it not evidence, it's all nonsense. It's all lies to try and fit his Wendy shit. It's a shame, man. It really is. It's a shame. And hey, good for him. He manipulated all his way to Netflix. It's great. Hope he's happy. That's okay, because I liked when he did this, to tell you the truth, because as soon as he did it, okay, I was like, oh shit, he found someone. But then when I looked at the case and I said, this unbelievable. This kid's unbelievable. Garbage. It was garbage from the minute I looked at it, and I don't know how he was able to manipulate people with it. No evidence. Zero evidence. All of it is shady.
If he was so confident in this case, he wouldn't feel the need to keep reiterating the same points over and over and over and over
And
again.
even when you counter him, he like the positive identification he lays out there. How many times does he have to be told it's not positive identification? But he'll keep just putting it. Why not, right?
I don't think, honestly, nobody is suddenly going to think, oh, maybe you were right all along. Nothing you've presented any of us is making
I'm just glad Berlinger gave Berkowitz his say in that documentary, because he clearly didn't do it. And I was glad he gave the people Berkowitz's words.
I mean, Eric asked me the other day, what was the first thing that stood out when you heard the Wendy story? Why didn't you believe it? And my first thing was like, oh, well, he admitted to other stabbings and other attacks.
Like I said, this just shows he's Maury Jr. All his work. The work he steals from me is mine. And then I can show you all his work, all his stupid shit. And that's like this. And his sniper shit. I mean, now he wants to go doing sniper nonsense.
So he puts
It's
David, around 16 or 17 when he would have been doing those attacks, right?
And even with one of his stupid sniper things, he even got countered. Then he writes, oh, after doing research, I found, no. Somebody else found and showed you were wrong. Okay, because a 3-year-old was shot on one of the things he was trying to blame Berkowitz on, because the hardware store was near it. It's just stupid. It's just like Maury's work, identical to me. You just try and find things and jam it into a scenario for you to try and make your theories right. And I ain't got none of that. Can't do it. Like I said, I was happy when he did this, because I was like, good. Now he's trapped. Now everybody's going to see the kind of work he does.
It would kind of be like you, Neo, talking about your book every week. This book is true. I'm telling the truth. You don't need to do that.
There's what, over 50 people in there? Go ask them. Go ahead, do your research. Go ask people in the book what happened.
But you're confident in your product, aren't you? I'm not
very,
saying
very confident in my product. Very confident in my product. It's all true. I back everything up in there.
I mean, when I look at Manny, the way he goes on is showing me somebody that's not confident in their cause. Like he just screams like he's just desperately trying to get people to believe this story, and it's not sticking.
He retired.
He retired.
Retired from what? Again, when I see his groundwork, when I see him knocking on doors, when I see him making phone calls, when I see him producing files, when I see him producing police reports, when I see him producing letters, okay? When I see him cracking letters, when I see him cracking the case, then maybe.
Dude, well,
then maybe he could retire. You know what I mean? From what I don't know, walking around onto my park, that's what he was doing. He's walking around onto my park.
He is essentially.
I would love to see where he would have went. Again, he would have had no series. You don't even know what I was doing behind the scenes, Rena. Trying to keep peace with everybody. That he's just.
No, I wasn't there. I wasn't there. Then.
It was treacherous. Believe me, he ain't got no series without me helping. I carried that shit, and he knows it. And he ain't fooling me. He would have had no separation from Taco. Okay, he would have had no separation from Untermeyer Park. He would have had no Nettos. He would have had no letters. He would have had nothing. Okay, zero. It's all groundwork done by me and a real team behind me. Can he produce his team? It's me. There is no team.
You would have had Ace the Hinge Brown.
I seriously would have liked to see where he would have went, because when I put my foot on the pedal and said, "Hey, I got something here, man. So you know what? I'm going to keep going." He was with Craig Fitzgerald about to put out a story that Craig's mother's boyfriend hung out with Berkowitz and John Carr in Untermeyer Park. That was the story he was going into. He was about to reveal that with Craig. That's where he was with his investigation, that the cult in Untermeyer Park, until I started dragging him to Wicker,
right,
and showing him what the hell was really going on with this case, not Untermeyer Park.
Here's Ginger. The only evidence they have is Wendy saying it was him, but only after her husband sent her 2 years of Son of Sam newspaper articles to shape her memory and take suspicious off himself.
Ginger, all right, you got that one right there, Ginger. All right, you didn't mangle that one.
Yeah, let me put something in with that to connect it. That evidence was considered. It was explained to me by homicide detective Robert Klein that evidence they call direct evidence. In other words, you cannot say she is lying, but the case didn't go to court. So you can't say she's lying, but then I say...
Yeah, no, I don't think she's lying. I don't.
But let me finish. But you cannot say it's the absolute truth. You can't say that he's guilty.
Can she not know what happened and try and just get any answer? She'll take any, can she not know what happened really and want it to be like that because it's the only way it can be closed? I don't know.
The only thing to do is to interview her.
But she does have different stories and stuff at times. But
Paul Hart says Wendy also said she heard the gunman laughing during a shooting. Not one of the surviving Son of Sam victims ever said they heard the shooter laughing. You can ask any of them.
Right. And the style that Berkowitz was shoot and run. This guy shot twice and then walked away and said, wait a minute, I got to make sure, and went back, shot again. Little different. It's not, you don't see that anywhere, right? And yeah, there's no laughing. He's right again.
Yeah. I mean, nothing's adding up to it being David, is it? Let's just cut the beat. I mean,
listen, again, he wants to say because people hate him. I commend him a tiny bit. But I'll go to Gary, not even him. But the Billy the Artist stuff he got, I mean, that's Billy the Artist. That's real, isn't it? You don't see me ever going after his Billy the Artist. Hold on, Eric. You don't ever see me going after his Billy the Artist stuff. Do you, Eric Arena? No, because that's really Billy the Artist. Gary found him. Gary, whatever. That's good info. That's right information, was it not? So you don't see me attacking that, correct? So it's not because I don't like this kid. It's because it's bullshit, the Wendy.
Yes, but we know all that. It's yesterday's news. We're supposed to be proceeding with now. We know all that. The only way that this could make sense is if you had a debate and you came out like Conspiracy Archivist said and compared, and you show exactly what the facts were. But to go over it again and again, I mean, you're even suffering with this in a way.
No, I'm good.
But why go over it again and again?
I'm not go over what again and again?
What you did. We know what you did.
No. See, this is what you're missing, Eric, okay? Because this kid, again, is putting up posts. You're not getting this. See, he does all this stuff behind the scenes so you guys don't see. He's over there saying that I stole things from him and I'm imitating him. And that's not true, Eric. Again.
Oh, I know that.
Right. So that happened today. That was not past. He continues to try and steal my work.
Yes.
Okay. So now, again, like I have a channel now, which I didn't for 3 years, which is why he got to run around and lie. So we expose. That's what we put the channel up to, expose his lies. And there's more as he goes.
You didn't tell me that Manny put
Yeah,
something.
he put up a post today saying that, I copied him and I'm imitating his work. Meanwhile, it's my work. It's my letters. That's my work. He have zero. You know what I mean, Eric? So he's got to be reminded again, and every so often.
Yeah, he put a post up today, Eric, essentially saying that people are
He has
copying
literally
him.
stolen work from me for years now. So all he does is follow me around online and try and steal whatever the hell I'm talking about or saying. He's really disgusting. And it's all behind the scenes, Eric. Like, do you see how you didn't see that now? And you think like no, it's him starting nonsense behind the scenes, triggering people, making up lies about people. The same thing the other people do. Okay. That's why when he came in a room the other day and he wants to feel for us for having to deal with people, he's been the worst person I've ever dealt with in my life. Like, who is he coming on here? The nerve to be like, oh, I feel for you having to deal. Are you kidding me? Dealing with you has been disgusting. Not I don't even pay attention to these other people. Him is all I give a shit about, because he steals my work and he's a liar a lot of times. I don't like liars, dude. That's why I'm in this. You lie, you're going down a few steps on the ladder with me. I don't like lying. You know that, Eric,
Thanks, Max. But yeah, I know, but I just wouldn't even pay much attention to it.
Well, I get screenshots. I try not to. Trust me, I am not.
Yeah, we'd be here every day, Eric, if we went after everything everybody said. But,
Believe me.
Sometimes you just have to, check it.
Enough.
How can Neo have been copying him when he found the stuff? And he already theorized that these are all the same. How can he be copying?
I was done with the book before half of his erased videos that you can't find. I mean, it's just... It's crazy. He wants to keep going. No problem. I'll keep going. That's what I mean. Hey, Eric, I don't want to keep going. I'd rather stick to looking through stuff. I'd rather her pull stuff out of the files that we have and go over stuff like we were the other day. But unfortunately, when we do that, he's going to go and act like I'm stealing shit from him, Eric, and that's bullshit. No one ever put out the Borelli letter as being the son of Sam like I just showed you, because nobody ever really seen the other letters to know Monster and some of the other stuff that was there. So again, he even wants to steal what I'm doing now, which is funny, but it'll come to an end, because the truth always comes out. That's why I'm saying he thinks he's bothering me, but I know deep down inside that dude's life is shit, and he can keep faking it all he wants. But hey, I'm good. I got a book, my work. I didn't have to go and lie to someone else to be on their work. And my book's going to be there for a long time. Your Netflix thing is already in the toilet bowl, so I can continue.
Well, Neo, you're pressed for time. You have to be somewhere, don't you?
I do.
Yep. I appreciate you as always being last minute.
Yeah, no, I'll pop up anytime. Just give me like 10 minutes. I'll pop through.
Let's just show this one last comment from Paul Hart. And Pelham Bay was a kill zone for the Purple Gang and the mob, including one hit the same night in the same area, also at the restaurant. So let's talk about the similarities.
Right. He wants to leave all that stuff out when that is the real stuff you should be looking at. And that's really going on.
And that Purple Gang is not to be confused with the one that came from Michigan in the 1930s. There were two Purple Gangs. This was the New York one.
Bad people.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, you guys be good. And
Paul Hart, thank you as always. Thank you guys for Ginger says great point, Paul.
All right, Ginger, be good.
Yep. We shall return.
God bless.
All right, thank you guys for being there, and see you soon.
Mm-hmm.